Welcome, Smutters and Smutresses, to a brand new season of Sibs Read Smut podcast. I'm Ned.
I'm Helen.
And this is a podcast where we read, rate, review, and I already fucked it up.
What did you fuck up?
We're supposed to be announcing, the brand new season and my brand new cardigan.
Oh, we got to talk about your cardigan.
Wardrobe, and the brand new wardrobe for season 2. But yes.
Did you have a stylist? Ned, do you have a girlfriend now?
I did have a stylist, and it was Smell Pot. It was you.
It was me. Still no girlfriend, ladies. If you're in LA, DM us.
We're leaving that in, too. We are not re-recording that intro.
No, I'm not re-recording anything. My kids are going to be up from their nap in like an hour, so we got to get this
For
done.
those of you just joining us, this is a podcast where we read, rate, review, and joke, all while discussing your, but mostly our, favorite dirty romance books. If you have any suggestions,
Are we opening our
number 1?
Bruise?
If you have any book suggestions or questions, reach out on the socials at Sibs Read Smut on the Instagrams and TikToks, or just email us at sibsreadsmut@gmail.com.
I can hear the bubbles from your drink.
Ooh, the bubbles.
Ooh, it's like ASMR. Asthma.
Start our own new channel.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the midst of building our own website for the series. So
we
more
is
info to
generous.
come.
We
Me.
is generous. Ned.
Yes. Me.
You need to get all the credit for this because I am not helping.
That is in the works. So more info to come in the coming weeks on that. And on today's podcast, very special podcast, we read this book over the summer and decided this needs to kick off our season 2. It is Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon. It is pretty wild.
Minotaur Smut.
Minotaur Smut. Our one of our faithful, dedicated listeners did not believe us.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, Megan. When I said we were doing Minotaur Smut, she thought I was joking, and I was like, "Oh no, this is the cover title." Mm-hmm. She sent us a picture of Milking Farm, which is another Minotaur Smut book, thinking that we were joking, and I go, "No, that's not the right one."
And milking, that's on our list too. The one that she sent us, the Milking Farm.
It's
that
on a
has,
bunch of lists.
Real people on the front, which is hilarious. It's romantasy, right?
Romantasy, yeah.
Romantasy.
The romance plus fantasy genre. It's a whole new thing. Spoiler alert, we will be talking about these books in full. Beginnings, endings, twists are all fair game. So if you haven't read the book, do or
go
don't,
read it.
Or listen to us first, whatever you want to do. But we're not going to wait. So off we go. Helen, will you please give us a brief description of this book?
I will. Fair warning, too, this book is 16 hours long if you listen to it.
It's a long one.
8 if you listen at 2 times, like Ned and I do. But for your listening pleasure, if you're going to listen before talking or before listening to us. All right, let me scroll down. Here we go. Here's the intro that I just wrote all by myself. Okay. Oh, no. Aspeth might be a sheltered, homely, and desperate holder's daughter, but she's thicker than a king-size Snicker. Oh, my God, Ned. Hawk is a minotaur about to go rut crazy without a mate. Is this match made in heaven? A marriage of convenience, a chance for Aspeth to save her household, and someone for Hawk to bone into the sunset. What could go wrong?
My God. We skipped over a little bit of stuff, like there are minotaurs in this world.
They go spelunking.
They go lots of cave diving, spelunking, and not just into her private parts. Right off the bat, I liked how she built this world. It started off with Aspeth and her friend Gwenna,
her servant,
lady's maid, but also really her only friend.
Yeah.
Who they are traveling to town. We get a little backstory on her dad is a gambler and has sold off all of their relics. Relics have magic in them. They go into a little backstory with that. He
has like a township, right? Like he's the holder, so he has like a lot of land. That's how I understand.
Yeah.
So he's like richer. Not really. He gambled all the money away, but nobody knows that. But he has like a lot. He owns a lot of stuff, right?
he used to own a lot of relics, and he's gambled them all away, and he has a lot of land, and the holders in this world are the rich, high up folks who hire people to go down into the caves and find these magic relics. And we learn all of this right off the bat. And honestly, sometimes, especially in these fantasy books where they're building these worlds like this, it's kind of a lot of exposition and a lot of just explaining what everything is. She kind of just dives you right into it, and you find out that the dad sucks. He sold all their stuff. She's going here to try to join the Artifactual Guild, and so that she can find more artifacts to save her house. Yeah. And then they get to town, and it's like, oh, there's a Minotaur. There's a slug with a house on its back. There's a whatever, and you're just like, oh, okay, these are just part of their world.
It's a slither skin, okay?
Slither
it's not
skin.
A slug with the house on its back. Okay.
Excuse me.
It's a slither skin.
But it was to me, it felt a lot like Schitt's Creek. I think I even mentioned that to you in text one time, where they don't bring up the fact that people are living different lifestyles than other people in the town. It just exists.
Not just different lifestyles, but like they're different beings. There's like
right, but I'm saying the way she brings it up,
right?
But the way she brings it up is just
assumed that this is the normal world.
Yeah. There's a Minotaur walking around.
There's no conversation that would be like out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
which again is very romantasy coded. I feel like that's the norm of these kinds of books. It's just you have to assume that it's fantasy.
Yeah, but agreed. Yeah, I think it is a staple of the genre. The genre.
Genre.
But Helen, you forgot to do something at the top of the show. Do you want to insert that right now?
I got a candle, and I'm not allowed to light candles in the house because my husband has asthma. Different than Asbeth. He has asthma. So I'm going to light our season 2 good luck candle. Woo! And then I'm just going to burn it when we're in session. And don't tell my husband, okay? He does not watch these. So he will not find these things out. He's taking care of the kids. Whoopsies. Is that some more asthma for the show or what? Technically, this is a candle from our other biggest fan. What if I just lit this whole thing on fire? That's good. Mom, thank you for the candle. This was a Christmas gift. So she's here with us in spirit, talking about Minotaur dongs.
Thanks. We'll get to that. But yeah. So the introducing of the world, I thought was well done and good. I mean, and she is prolific. Ruby Dixon, meaning she is prolific in the sci-fi romantasy space.
Is she?
Oh yeah, she's got a ton of stuff on Goodreads, and on
cool.
the other series that I was looking at was Only the Clonely, which is about clones and stuff too. Which I thought was like, oh okay,
smut.
I mean, I would assume so. Everything has those smutty covers on them.
Okay,
but
there we go.
So that's maybe add that one to your list.
Ruby Dixon is her real name? Or do you think she became a smut writer because her last name has Dix in it?
Maybe. We can ask her when we start interviewing authors.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if two like idiot sibling podcasters were like, do you write slutty novels because you have dick in your name?
I think that's opening first question.
We would be shunned.
Oh my God! That would kick off the interview right. Give her a straight shot into our comedy. But the characters I thought had unique voices. Sometimes we have books where a lot of the side characters and stuff sound the same, but she did a good job. And I think I even mentioned to you at one point too, there's some action-y type stuff in here too, where they're going into the caves and they're fighting big rat things and whatever. And I thought she did very well getting the suspense going and getting all that stuff. But just overview, Aspeth is going to this city. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
To try to join
guild.
the Artifactual Guild to find artifacts to save her household and make sure that all her father's people are protected.
Yeah.
They won't let her in They won't,
They
allow
said
her to
no
become
chicks allowed.
no chickies, which is a big theme throughout this book and the next one. A lot of the patriarchy and very misogynistic feelings of a lot of the male characters. But she finds
They look down on women and slugs with houses. They
And
are not
slugs with
nice to
houses.
the Slitherskin. He's my favorite character in the whole book. I
they're
think.
not. I know. I liked them a lot too. But they're not really nice to the Minotaurs either. They're not
No,
nice
yeah.
to almost anybody in this book besides
Yeah.
their straight white men. Characters really.
I guess we don't know that they're
straight.
straight white men. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're just like the men in
Humans.
charge. They're men, but they're human
Yeah.
men. They're in charge. We don't know what beyond that they are. I mean, we're just envisioning it, and in our world, yeah, they would be straight white men would be in
Yeah.
charge, but yeah. So they just run their own little guild. They look down on. They use the Minotaurs because they're very strong like bull, and
Yeah.
then. They
They dig
everybody
out people from they
yeah.
are the workhorses.
The Minotaurs go save people
of the guild. And the one scene at the very beginning where they were introducing almost casually all of these horned beasts walking around and everything
Yeah.
else. She is sitting on top of all their luggage while somebody stole one of the cases and ran off with
Yeah.
it, and Gwenna, the handmaid, chases after them, and she decides to just sit on top of all the luggage to make sure that nobody else runs off with anything else. And it was it was very funny. It was a very funny scene.
That was a very funny scene. I think I appreciated it more the second time I read it because I don't know if I just read past it or I was still trying to grasp the world. Made me laugh, and just knowing her too, going back and reading it the second time, knowing her humor, I very much appreciated that. She just plopped her ass down on top of all of her shit, and she was like, "What are they gonna get? Nothing else. Like they're not gonna push me off this." And she's a big gal. I think
She's thick.
she's thicker than a Snicker, is what you wrote. I do believe
Thicker than a king size Snicker.
Where did you come up with that?
It's a great line.
And so, but she's like described very much like you said in the intro, like homely. She's got glasses. She's nerdy. She is, I think, really tall and thick and like just not your like average waif, like little tiny woman that you'd want to be your wife. But she can probably take a Minotaur dick really well. I mean, it's, I think.
Which comes up later, especially with the glasses, because only rich people wear glasses. So
and she's trying to be subtle. She's trying not to like. She doesn't want people to know who she is. And she comes up with a whole different personality, not personality, but like a whole different persona.
Yeah.
She nicknames herself Sparrow. They all have bird names, and she doesn't tell anybody. And so Gwenna obviously knows who she is. They both come from the same holder, whatever, and
household
place. And then, but she goes by Sparrow. And she names herself, and everyone's like, "You can't give yourself a nickname."
Yeah.
She's like,
and especially not until you're actually in the guild. Only people in the guild get it. But she's like, "I'm Sparrow, so everyone call me Sparrow." And they're like, "You can't do that."
That's not how it works.
And so she tries to get in, which was also a very funny, not funny, haha, but it was interesting when she tries to join the guild. She fights her way through, hitting people with her umbrella, trying to get to the front of the line.
Yeah.
She's poking people and moving them out of the way, and some guy grabs her butt or whatever, and she almost falls over and runs into Hawk, the male, lead protagonist.
Big chest.
Yeah, and hairy and hoofed and all this other, like whatever. And he's like, puny human, whatever, get out of here. And they end up kicking her out and saying, no, you can't. And she and Gwenna find a way to get into the guild. And the only way that she can find a sponsor is to marry Hawk, who needs a partner for the rutting season that's coming up, which is 5 days of straight carnal pleasure that happens when every like 4 or 5 years or something like that. And if he didn't find a mate, he would have to go to all hookers or whatever, and he doesn't want to do that. So he's like, okay, you become my mate for those 5 days, and I will be your
sponsor to join the guild,
to get into the guild, and you'll be on my team, and Gwenna's on my team, and everything else. Gwenna doesn't even really know what she's getting into, and it's she goes, oh, okay, but she's a virgin. She's had her boobs fondled by her ex fiance Bartholomew, who's a real dickbag.
Is that his name, Bartholomew? Is it Bartholomew?
So.
I think it's close, but I don't know if that's it. Anyway, yeah. So she's trying. So this ex, she broke up with him because he said mean things about her and said she was not pretty, and he was just using her to get to her holdings.
Yeah.
Little did he know. There are no holdings.
There are no holdings.
Sucker.
What was it? A note I have here: rampant misogyny makes everyone laugh. But Aspeth just makes Aspeth want to join more. Rooster is the head of the sign-ups, and he's a real butthole, and he comes up throughout this book and the follow-up book, which was By the Horns, which also just came out a month or two ago, which I just finished. I don't know if did you read that?
No, I have not had the pleasure yet.
It's Gwenna's story, so it's Gwenna's book too. You told me about it was that the main character has a full-time knot in his dick. Yeah, he's knotted full-time, which usually only happens for Minotaurs once every 5 years. He's got one full-time. It is Who Dog. And some of the training that they have to go through, so they do a lot of running and everything else, and she is uncoordinated. She is not handy at any of this.
Well, she refuses to wear her glasses because we already said she doesn't want people to know that she's like actually this rich chick, so she doesn't wear her glasses, but then she like can't see. She runs into people. She like does not. It's like funny things happen because she's borderline blind.
In their first night together, I think she gets back from the training, and he's like, she goes to her room to sleep with Gwenna, and Hawk's like, no, you stay with me, you're in my bedroom, and so
you're my wife now.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweaty breast talk, and I'm like, I'm here for it.
Wait, we didn't talk about the wedding. So they have to like get married for this is a marriage. What is the trope? The marriage of convenience or whatever. So they get married, and it's a human woman who's like a somebody like a judge of the peace or whatever, and she marries them, and she goes, I don't really know what the ring ceremony looks like for a Minotaur and a human. And Asbeth is just like, oh, that's okay. We'll skip the ring ceremony, assuming that it's like putting rings on each other's fingers because he has hooves. And then in his mind, with his narrative, he's like, little does she know that a ring ceremony for a Minotaur is that he pierces her clit with a bull ring. And that's like what the ring ceremony is for Minotaurs when they get married.
Well, just to be clear, he has hoofs downstairs, but hands upstairs.
Wait, I thought he had hoofs all the way around.
No, he's got hands up top.
Listen,
because he's fingering her. Well, when you were reading this book over the summer, you're like, I don't know what this looks like. So you literally.
We were like halfway into the book, and I texted Ned, because there was a scene where he like took his boots off or something, and whatever the line was, it was like, I pulled my hoof out of my boot. Ooh, number two. And I was like, wait, he has hooves for feet? I was just like, I couldn't figure it out. So I'm literally driving to work. I'm on the highway, and I Googled this on the highway driving. Don't tell
I have it
Mom and Dad. And I was like, what does a Minotaur look like? And this was the first thing that came up. And I sent it to Ned immediately. I was like, oh my God, now I can't unsee this. And so now all I think about when I'm reading about this, like, big, sweaty Minotaur, what's his name? Hawk. When he's like fucking Asbeth. And I'm just like, this, like, just fat cartoon Minotaur, like, whoa.
It is. It's pretty. It's pretty good.
All I envision.
For those of you just listening to this, go online and check it out. It's pretty great.
We'll put it on our
little
Instagrams.
Minotaur. Yeah, we'll throw it up on the Instas so that you can see it too.
This is what the cover people can't see this, but if you Google the cover, that's what the Minotaur looks like, and that's what she looks like. So on the cover of the book, they give you like a little bit of a glance. So he's got the bull ring in his nose and tattoos, and
we'll put the cover up at the top of the show too. You know, when we introduce the book, like always, Helen. But the you do all the work. I'm just the talent. Then let's not joke. But they're spending their first night together, and she refuses to wear her glasses because she doesn't want anybody to know that she's, you know, rich, famous, relatively famous woman, and she sees him in the bath, and she can't. He's like, you should probably see what my dong looks like so you know what to expect or whatever. And she's like, can I get closer to it? She's like, can I get closer to it? Like really like getting on top of it because you can't see. And that made me laugh so hard.
I forgot about that part.
And he recognizes that she's innocent and pretty sheltered. So like he's like, we got to warm you up to this sex decathlon.
There's a lot of education. Did you name any of the sex scenes in this?
Oh yeah, of course.
Did you name the alley scene?
I did.
Good.
And the first one comes up pretty much right after that first. The first night they spend together, he gives her a reprieve, just shows it to her a little bit. But then the second one is the 27% in, which is a respectable amount of time. I mean, they're already married too.
For a 16-hour book.
For a 16-hour book, yeah. But I called it a tough knot to get out. And Hawk finally shows Asbeth the huge Minotaur dong, points it right at her. This is the can't see it without her glasses on. That's that scene. Yeah. And she finally meets Magpie, who's this famous artifact finder, and she's just a drunk and pretty terrible, and
she
just
sucks.
Terrible. But it shows that women can contain multitudes. They have. You know, they have a woman who's a real shitbag, as well as the strong female lead characters and everything else. You know, okay.
Yeah, I like that. You're right. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, but Asbeth is very good at identifying relics. She's terrible at anything physical, but she knows the old ancient language, and she knows. So she does have some skills that make her pretty good at this.
Valuable. Yeah.
Valuable. And that brings us to chapter number 2, 35% in, Bathtub Chubba Rub Dub. She is now in the bath, and they talk about kissing, and he's trying to explain to her that Minotaurs don't really kiss because they don't have lips.
Show the picture.
Show the picture. I still have it right here.
I was going to say, I got to look it up. There's not really lips there.
Yeah,
so she like kiss the tip of his nose or something.
Yeah, she kissed his snout. He goes, okay, you're not ready for my dong yet, but let's. He strips her down and then like gives her a foot massage to completion on the bed, and then and then it turns into I think I called it cow conolingus, and he just like tongues her with his huge cow tongue. And lots of C word in this scene, and throughout the rest of the book,
and cunt. Yeah, clit and cunt.
Lots of clit and cunt. Lots going on. And then the next day, Asbeth is all embarrassed about it because that was like her first real sexual experience,
her awakening.
Yeah, and then Magpie takes over the teaching, and she's not just
shifty.
Like taking him out in the woods and shifty, and there's something wrong with her.
Highly sus.
Very sus. And then they go out to the forest to camp, and that leads to 41% in the forest fingering Fantasia, where he
oh my God, Fantasia.
He has a magic hand, and he's just like,
that was my magic hand.
That was my magic hand.
Forrest Gump.
Jenny.
Jenny.
I just watched that again the other day. It's always so good.
It's my favorite
Jenny
movie.
Is the villain of that movie
time.
For sure.
Oof. Yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah.
Except for the KKK. They were also pretty shitty.
Yeah. His forebearers, Forrest, whatever his name was.
He's named after,
the guy that started the KKK. So yeah, Hawk smushes guts with his magic hand to completion. The sex scenes are pretty spicy and well written. I mean, it was for a cow banging a woman.
It's not a cow. It's a bull.
Minotaur.
Is a cow.
Bull. Yeah. Bull is a male cow.
Oh yeah. I was like, it's not a cow. I was offended.
Just like you, horse, Helen.
They were horsing. You know what you kind of just ruined for me? When we FaceTime every day with my kids and Lucy, specifically my 2.5-year-old, she'll go, Uncle Ned, and then she'll name an animal on like Apple, whatever. And
FaceTime.
And you like can make yourself into an animal. And then so she always asks for what? The mouse and the cow and the monkey.
The mouse, the monkey, the cat. She loves the cat, too.
She likes the cat. And the unicorn has a purple glitter tongue.
Yeah.
So whenever she asks for the unicorn, she says, stick out your tongue. And now all I can think about is that, what did you call it? Cow cunnilingus?
Cow cunnilingus.
And now I won't be able to unthink that when we're FaceTiming with my 2-year-old. So
yeah.
Thank you.
And they start, the sex scenes come like quickly and then take a break and then quickly and then take a break, where there's like a lot of story in between. So 41% was Forrest fingering Fantasia, and then 44% was dousing digits with Jamba Juice.
Oh my God. I don't even know what you're referring to.
Lots of juicy talk. She's so juicy and wet.
She does get very wet. Yeah.
When they're in the tent together, and he's like, "It's good because you're gonna need to be that wet when I get my
take my dick."
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
And he's hitting her with the practice sword, and he's like, "Oh, you're hurting, honey. Let me just finger you on this rock." And Barnabas, her old fiance.
That's
shows
the name,
up.
Not Bartholomew. Yeah. Barnabas.
Yeah. Barnabas. And he is coming to the city for some reason and comes across their training party out in the woods. And Gwenna does her best to hide Aspeth from Barnabas.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things where you can just tell he's a skeevy dickhole, and even from her previous descriptions. But she hides it from Hawk. And Hawk is now suspects that something's going on. Because she goes
and she meets him in the city, and so at some point, Gwenna hides her in the woods. They get back to the actual house. They're done camping, and there's a note waiting there for her or something, saying I know where you are, I know what you're doing. Meet me at midnight at this bar, like the French Onion or something, and
the falling onion, because they have a basket of a magic basket of onions where they just fall down. So all the beers come with onions on them, and everyone's eating onions. It was such a weird but endearing kind of small quirk to the book. I loved it. I thought it was a great little detail for no other reason than her own enjoyment of a funny scene.
I'm gonna put this ridiculous bar in here, and the wench, the bar wench, who's using the same towel to wipe the entire everything, and it just the bar rag smells worse than anything else in there. Anyway, so she meets Barnabas at midnight at the Falling Onion. Yeah, however, he figures it out that she's left and gone to meet a man, and he doesn't know who. And then she still tries. So anyway, there's all of this miscommunication. So he figures out that she's gone and meeting this man. She doesn't tell Hawk who she's meeting or why. Barnabas is trying to kind of blackmail her, and they get into a bunch of stuff. She does not agree to anything for Barnabas, and she already hates him. So I don't know. You can just tell there's a lot going on. But this is where I think that's an inflection point in the book of now Hawk is suspicious of her.
Yeah.
And it leads to a lot of...
he stays suspicion for a while now. And because he doesn't even really still know who she is yet. He has not found out that she is a Holder's daughter. He has inklings. And he also thinks that, she could be there for nefarious reasons and to hurt the guild in some way. He's not sure. But he grabs her outside of this bar, and she's rushing him out. And as I called him, Butthole Barnabas he's like, I'm going to kill him and whatever. She drags him out of there. And on their way back, he's dragging her through the streets. And they happen upon a huge orgy in the streets.
Orgy.
And she's it's
Minotaur
pretty
orgy.
It's Minotaur. Well, and no, male Minotaur.
I thought it was
it's
Minotaurs fucking ladies of the night.
Human women, yeah. Human hookers.
We don't know that they're human, but ladies of the night. They're all outside a brothel.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was human women because they talk about boobs flapping in the breeze and everything else. Lots of slapping bodies. He's like makes her watch. He's like, you need to know what's coming. So he like makes her watch, and she gets like super spiced up, super horn dogged. And so 51% in, back alleyway orgy. Not terribly creative, but it was.
For such a pivotal scene in the book, I feel like you could have done better.
Yeah.
As the person who literally comes to these episodes fully just reading the book, and you've done research, written notes, you do the editing, you do everything. You could have done better.
Yeah. Do better next time, Ned. Come on.
Do better. That was a real pivotal, salty, saucy,
but she can't see what's going on, so he describes in great detail what's going on.
Yeah.
And then he starts like rubbing up on her, and he just floods his pants with cum while he's grinding on her and fingering her in this back alley. It is.
Ned, gross.
There's so much fluids, it's just running everywhere.
Gross.
But then he starts being distant, and Aspeth is aching. She doesn't know what's going on. She's never been in a real relationship before, so she doesn't know what his distance means, and some of that is his distrust. But he has to go into the tunnels and find every now and again people that get buried down in the tunnels where they find all these artifacts. So there's a city on top of a city, kind of. So they have to go down to find these artifacts underground, and he is part of the spelunking. He's part of the teams that needs to go dig people out when stupid humans get stuck down there. And so he gets called away every now and again for these missions. And so he's being distant, and they don't know. So while he's gone, Magpie, who is supposed to be training them, but Hawk's doing all the training for all intents and purposes. But she takes them down there and kind of just leaves them to their own devices. And we find out, Gwenna might be a little magic. We find out that the Slither skin, I forget what his name is. Do you remember his name?
No, but I can find out. I love him.
He's a great sword wielder, and they actually have a pretty decent team that they put together with each other.
There's 5 of them, and then there's one that is another rich person's daughter, and she had been put at a silent convent, and so she came here because she didn't want to be silent. And then and then there was the Magpie's niece, Lark, is the 5th member of this motley crew, and she's great. She's great. She's sassy, also kind of a drunk like Magpie, but not like you can tell she's like actually kind of a good person, and Magpie is not.
In the second book, Lark and the other Holder's daughter, the nun one, they get together. They're together in the second book, so that was a fun little deed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Hawk doesn't trust her, but she still really wants to fuck him. So 65% in spectacles, testicles, wallet, and cock is what I called that one. She didn't get a good look at his dick the first time without her glasses, so now he knows that she needs glasses, and she's a Holder's daughter. So he gets the glasses out, and then she mouth sexes him. No teeth. Yeah, he's like has to warn her, teeth.
Yeah. Well, because she I think started, and then like, nope.
And then he's like, oh well, I'm gonna pull out because I'm gonna come, and then he just sends gallons of seed into her, and she spills everywhere. She's just covered like a jelly glazed donut, and it's
gross. Ew. Wait, I have a couple complaints. The amount of seed that I'm envisioning after reading this book is genuinely like buckets, just dumping buckets of seed everywhere. Calling it seed, annoying. And then instead of saying fucking, they say mucking.
Really?
Oh, spunk, yeah. Oh my God. Well, did you listen to it or did you read it? every
listened
swear
to
word,
it.
he's like, they were mucking this up and they were mucking that and mucking. And
Oh.
like, I know that mucking is a real like word, but he used mucking in place of fucking. He's like, that's so mucking annoying.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, it annoyed the shit out of me.
That didn't
I was like,
stick
just
out
swear.
to me.
Just swear. I don't, because I don't, otherwise they use, I just think the overuse of like cunt and clit and like all of these words that are like not great words, right? Like they're bad words. Not bad words. We need to embrace them. Sex positive. But, and then to not be able to say fucking, like what the
Yeah.
hell? I was like, just, you're already saying all of these dirty words. Just keep going.
But that's kind of a trope. That's kind of a trope of romanticy in and of itself. You know, like I just finished that Quicksilver book, and they say seven hells and all kinds of other like they have their own world turns of phrases where it I think that's just kind of a way to make sure you remember that it's not the real world, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm speaking for Ruby here, but Rubes probably did it that way.
Ruby Dix.
But yeah, I think all of these kind of romantasy books have their own little like verbal peccadillos like that, and that was this one. And like I said, it didn't really stick out to me in this go around. And usually I'm the one that picks out that kind of stuff and is like,
oh my god, the muck. It was so mucking annoying.
Well, and I didn't catch too much sniffing in this book either. There was not a whole lot of smelling that came up that I can remember specifically.
There totally was. There was. Because I think of it now because of you stupid butthead. But there was there was a part when, this is jumping to the end, but we're almost there anyway. So the Hawk is going into the tunnel. So there's a cave in, yada yada. So he's going into the tunnel to find Asbeth, and he meets a rattlesnake. What are they called? The rats, the rat skins, ratlings, and the ratling had a piece of fiber from Asbeth's skirt on his fur, and Hawk smelled it and was like, "She's mine."
Oh, when he was in full rut, he had to
was
find
in
her.
full rut. Mine. And so he smelled her on one of the ratlings and knew he was going in the right direction.
So, another twist on this thing is Gwenna, while Magpie leaves them down in the dungeons to find whatever, they end up actually finding a pretty potentially powerful ring, and Gwenna steals it and brings it back and gives it to Asbeth, saying, "Hey, this can probably help your house. Hang on to it."
They don't turn it into the guild.
They don't turn it into the guild, and this leads to another big misunderstanding with Hawk again, where all the team, the five of them, get together and say, "Hey, we're going to protect you on this. We now know who you are. We're going to try and help you save your household." But they need to keep it from Magpie and they keep it from Hawk. But they end up telling Magpie, which was a huge, horrible
big
mistake. 'Cause she ends up getting into league with Butthole Barnabas.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But they end up making Hawk and Asbeth make up, which leads to 73% make-up sexcapades. And they just bang it out again, and he's like trying to fit it all in there, and she's still so tight, and whatever. He needs to loosen her up before the bull moon comes. And so, but they need to get rid of Hawk because they need to go back down to the caves to find the other partner to this ring that's going to unlock its full power. Which then they try to get rid of him, but he ends up finding her again, 76% in coctoral stimulation. There's a bunch of rubbing in the alley, ice cream paint job, jizz shower. Just quick notes about that scene. And they send him out on a mission, and then Butthole Barnabas and Magpie trap them down in the caves and try to kill them potentially, and because they want the ring and they can't get to the ring, so they trap them and say, "Hey, when you're dead, we'll just come back down here and grab it." Well, they end up with all their newfound skills being able to find their way out, but they get trapped, and the conquest boon happens.
They don't find their way out. They find their way further in to the caves
and get trapped.
Well, they get trapped, yeah, but so they don't find their way out. What happens is they go
Find their
further
way out
into
of
the
this,
caves.
that situation, not out of the caves.
That's an important clarifying point, Ned. But they find their way further in, and then they end up finding the other ring.
Further in.
Further in.
Helen was trying to finger her camera. For those of you listening.
You're welcome.
Which leads to he storms into the dungeons to find her, because now he's in full red-eyed bull.
He figures
heat,
out
heat mode.
Yes, he like figures out the whole thing with Magpie and Barnabas, and then he realizes that Vault 13 or whatever is caved in, and that they're probably in there, and so their eyes turn red when the moon is fully risen.
Yeah. When the conquest moon is upon them, their eyes turn red.
So his eyes are fully red, and everybody's like, beware of Hawk, he's fully in rut. And then he goes in his mind.
He fights his way to find them in the dungeons, and that was very well done. And not only was the fight scene choreography done well, but it was pretty suspenseful. Them being chased by the ratlings through the caves, him running through the caves to get to them. I thought that action-y type stuff was done very well by Ruby Dixon. I thought she did. That writing was good. And like we had talked about in season 1 for a couple of those books, your L. Kennedys and some of the other authors that we read, where I'm like, they can write such an intricate sex scene. I want to know what their action, if they could write an action movie. She did that. She had a lot of action in this book, and she wrote these intricate sex scenes. I think we now know that they can cross-pollinate, and a skill at one can lead to a skill in the other. So, L. Kennedy, take notes.
Right, romantasy.
Yeah, not romantasy. Action movies.
Oh, Ned just wants to see action. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
But that leads to 88% Conquest Moon Poon Mania. Hawks.
Oh, when they're trapped in the thing.
They're trapped in a crypt. And Aspeth literally turns to them and goes, everyone should probably leave, as he's already ripping her clothes off before everyone even starts leaving. This was one of the most
uncomfortable moments, is he finally gets there. He fights off all the ratlings. They're trapped in a, what did you call it, a crypt. And so he gets into the crypt, and they're all like, oh, and he's just immediately pawing at her boobs and licking her face and just trying to pork her, and everybody's like, what the fuck? What do we do?
She's starting to get all horned up, and she literally looks at her team and goes, leave the food and come back when the moon passes.
Yes.
in
come
5
back
days.
in 5 days. And everybody's like, no, we can't do that. And the other guards that were trailing Hawk down into the tunnels, they were like, we can't control him. He's out of control. And they were like, yeah, but he got here first. And so they're like, all right, we need to get all of you out. Leave him. We'll close him in till the moon is done. She's like, I'm not leaving him here alone to just masturbate for 5 days. So
this is why I married him in the first place.
This is why I married him. I'm here to be his conquest moon partner. And so then they throw the fucking food at her, and they're like, all right, we'll see you in 5 days. And this is when the seed really got to me, because it just he was pumping her guts full of lead.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was no, I was like, that's
pumping her guts full of lead.
I'm gonna pump your guts full of lead. And I just don't, that's not an active, there's not enough room. Where is it all going?
It's running out of her. She has to bathe with her drinking water.
Oh,
she's so dirty.
That's true.
Gross.
So
I wrote lots of squelching sounds throughout this scene on the audiobook, and just constant rutting. He'll literally come all over her, and then his eyes will go back to normal for 20 minutes, and then suddenly his eyes will go red again, and he's like, get ready, and just gives her hip dysplasia, from so much banging. And I just have a note here going, he's just bathing her insides in spunk.
So much spunk. It was a lot.
So they come down after and no condo talk.
Which comes up after the fact. She's like, oh, fuck. She like thinks, she's like, oh, shit.
So she's, but she actually comes out of there pregnant. And he
she
has,
does?
Yeah, and he goes and gets a magical charm that holds her uterus in state until she takes it off, and then the baby will grow again. That was
I missed that.
Yeah, so like usually they have contraceptive charms or whatever, but they didn't use one, and he banged her for 5 days straight, and he literally filled her up to it's coming out of every orifice, and then he gave her this charm to like hold the baby in state until they're ready to have kids, I guess. But after 5 days of fucking, they finally get out of there, and Aspeth is immediately arrested because they stole
the rings.
Artifacts, the rings. And the king finally comes and gets involved, and the magpie gets kicked out of the guild.
Yeah, they wrap it all up.
Yeah, needs to give up all of his a bunch of his relics. The team, all of them need to repeat the training.
The year.
None of them get to become artificers. And Aspeth.
That's such a fancy word.
Yeah.
Artificers.
Artificers. And Aspeth is kicked out of the guild completely. She cannot join. And the rings are sold. Dun, 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 to her father. Which was a kind of twist.
Oh,
in
yeah.
there. The dad shows up at the end with his new hooker wife. And
who is the boss.
Yeah, she's great.
So, started at the bottom, now I'm here. I mean, like,
boss ass
that
bitch,
was
bitch,
boss ass bitch. I loved her.
Bitch.
She was, that was a great dance, Ned. But she was a lady of the night for
the king.
For the king, a courtesan. And then she also was boning the dad, Asbeth's dad. And so she was just sort of sleeping around. And they have a son from 7 years
7-year-old son
prior. Yeah. And so, but she was still a courtesan for the king. And then the king's wife got pregnant, I think. And she was like, I don't want any courtesan business. Get them out. So then she was like, well, I have no job anymore. So then she had to, but the king gave the courtesan a large dowry. And so in marrying Asbeth's dad, she was bringing that dowry to their holding. And so she was like, oh, we've already talked about his gambling, and he will not be in charge of any of the money. He will get an allowance, and he will continue to be the holder, but I will run the place. And Asbeth was like, this lady is fucking awesome. She was like ready to hate her because she's marrying her dad, and her mom is dead.
And taking away her birthright almost, too.
By the fact that there's a brother that takes over, he will become.
But she didn't want it anyway. Even from the very beginning, she didn't want this land, but she felt responsible for it because her dad was such a fuck up.
And then as the book went on, she was like, actually, being in the guild is kind of like grave robbing, and I don't like it. And so she kind of switched. And so by the time when they were like, you can't be in the guild, this is not for you, she was like, that's fine. Like, she was okay with it.
Her knowing all the ancient languages and everything else, too, a guy shows up right at the end to kind of wrap the story up even more and goes, hey, instead of being you're not good in the caves anyway, why don't you just read all this ancient text and go to the libraries and deal with books and all the stuff that you love anyway? And
she's like a researcher.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love that.
That's exactly what I want to do.
She ends up getting a job with the archivists, and she's totally stoked. And then she and Hawk can stay and hump into the sunset. Happily ever after.
He gets Magpie's job. Hawk gets Magpie's job. They do kick Magpie out. And then Hawk becomes a trainer. What are they called? They had a name. But yeah, I mean, happily ever after.
Yeah, and I don't know. Have you read much romantasy? Like, have you read much fantasy in general?
I feel like ACOTAR, like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then the others, the Sarah Moss books I've read.
Yeah. The assassin ones.
The assassin ones, and then like Onyx, the dragon fuckers. That's romantasy. Rachel Yarros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebecca Yarros.
I mean, Rebecca Yarros. Thank you. I've read a handful, and I enjoy them. I mean, I like, to your point of the Schitt's Creek analogy of just like, there's no like, they're setting up the world, but there's no like, this is a weird thing. It's just that's normal.
I was shocked at seeing a Minotaur. Yeah. It's like no. Oh, there's a Minotaur, and there's a slug house, and
I love him. I still couldn't find his name.
But Yeah, I having read Quicksilver and a couple other real, straight fantasy novels, not romantasy. I have a Viking one coming up on the list.
Oh,
These
God.
books tend to be longer than
Yeah.
than your average books too, which I think on this second reading of it, I think I was listening at 2.5, whatever. It was going quick because I knew what happened and I just needed to take the generalized notes, but. I would you read, or are you going to read book 2 of this series?
If I was at a normal point in my life, for sure.
Yeah.
But I have very limited reading at times right now with a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old. I'm not commuting to work at present, so my reading time is very limited. I would absolutely keep it on my list. I would absolutely read the next one.
Yeah.
If I had time and if I wasn't having to be very strategic with the books that I'm reading.
Considering we have a 24 episode season 2 coming up, it's like you got to start
good
reading.
luck candle.
Yeah.
I know, but and even to finish this book, I had to put in my AirPod and it's like holding the baby and pumping and listening to this chick get rutted in a cave was just the dissonance between what my life actually is and what I'm listening to is kind of the point. I mean, I feel like that's the escapism of it all. But also sometimes it's okay, that's can't be legal. Please don't send Child Protective Services over here to listen to what I'm listening to.
All right. Well, before we get to the ratings and the would you suggest this, we have
Yes.
the thing we started towards the end of season 1. We have a very special Mad Lib that I designed for this episode, and when we texted it to the number 1 superfan Megan, I said, I told ChatGPT, give me a Mad Lib that involves unicorns and minotaurs. And so they came up with the case of the unicorn versus the minotaur, courtroom setting.
Okay.
So, Megan, thank you.
Do you want me to read it, or are you going to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Where is it? Is it on our...
It's on the Mad Libs tab.
The Mad Libs tab.
On our work document.
All right. I love that you even have the little animals in here.
That's straight from ChatGPT.
Is it? Oh, my God. All right. So I'm just going to read it straight out. But then we don't know what her words are.
Well,
all right. So here are the...
I think it's going to stand out, Helen.
All right, here's the case of the unicorn versus the minotaur. On a very stinky morning, the court of boobies was called to order by Master Judge Glittergavel. The courtroom gasped as a unicorn trotted in, soaking dramatically, followed closely by a minotaur who smelled faintly of narwhals.
I think the words stand out pretty well. I don't think you needed to read it beforehand.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what the words were. This court will now hear the case of the unicorn versus the minotaur, declared the judge in a fussy voice, slamming the gavel with a loud slurp. The unicorn sharded their taint and testified that the minotaur had stolen their gooey baseball bat during a full moon. The minotaur leapt up and swam, claiming innocence while feeling extremely embarrassed. A moist fairy in the jury box began kneading, and chaos erupted across the courtroom. In the end, justice was served, sort of. There's no conclusion.
Nope.
This is why AI sucks.
Oh, my God.
Oh, shit. Well, Thank you, Megan. The gooey baseball bat?
Gooey baseball bat sharded their taint. Success.
The sharded their taint.
Another Mad Lib success, Helen. I think knocked it out of the park.
Megan knocked it out of the park. That was great.
Thank
you, Megan.
Where does this book fall on the smutometer for you?
I want to talk about this. Because I think that you have this really high up there. Again, on a scale of 1 to pucking around, I don't think that it meets Pucking Around. I think that it's like, it's okay. It was like super spicy, but it's fantasy. So I just don't feel like it's quite as real. It's not realistic. It's like supposed to be.
Hold on. Yeah,
fake.
Not realistic.
Well, and maybe that picture of Hawk is why I can't like believe it or see it in my head. But again, like Pucking Around, they're like,
I know, but we created it. We created Spicy Plus specifically for Pucking Around. We have not had another Spicy Plus book. I put this as spicy. Fine. Yeah,
spicy.
I agree.
This is spicy. But again, it just didn't have the same like.
Well, think about the kitchen scene from Pucking Around. If it was buckets of semen that they were dumping on each other.
I mean, I don't know. This just felt Wet and Wild. Maybe it needs to be called Wet and Wild instead of spicy. But it was good. It was great. It was a good book, and it was spicy. But again, she's fucking a Minotaur. He's got a knot on his dick that he has to like empty full of semen. And so it's so like in my mind.
Trying to fit it all in there too was a interesting Jenga puzzle.
Oh yeah, in the crypt.
Vagina, a vagina Jenga puzzle.
And then like he got it in, and then she can't get off of until the knot deflates, which is like. Not quickly. It's not quickly. It's just, but it takes like hours to deflate, or hours or days or whatever. It's not like, oh, they just fucked and then it deflates and then she can get off. It's like they're connected for days in the crypt.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I agree with
can't
spicy.
Explain it.
Spicy Plus, no. But you kind of touched on it already. But would you recommend this book?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I did recommend it when I was reading it for the first time last summer. I think I was at book club and I brought it up and I was like, oh, I'm reading Minotaur Smut. I brought it up several times. Or maybe I was at Sally's birthday party, because I remember driving home from that and finishing the book and being like, wow, you guys, you have to listen to this. And book club Sally. And so I was just like, yeah, I have and I will again recommend it. It also feels like, for a romantasy, it's not the super mainstream Rebecca Yarros, Sarah Moss. I feel like those are really saturated at this point. At least a lot of people have read them. This is sort of more like intro into other kind of romantasy, where it's not like humans boning. I don't know. Well, I guess in Sarah Moss books they have wings. But
yeah, well, I haven't read the Akatars, but I've read her Assassin series.
And haven't read Akatar?
No, not yet.
Do we have that on this season?
No, it was a potential for this season, but I think we skipped it because we already had Bull Moon Rising and Twilight, and we have one more.
Maybe we do it instead of Twilight.
in the second half we have another Games with the Orc. We have in the back half of this season.
Oh my god! Maybe we tweak some of these. I already went through this
with a fine-tooth comb.
I know.
Well, but also the Akatar too is very hard to explain. I mean, even this one, it's hard to get into all the fantasy stuff. Yeah, there's that too. But
I don't know. Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah. Do you know what's coming up next week?
Yes! And I only know because you played that sound for me earlier. And you said, I'm going to ask you this. And then you have to say that you don't know what it is. And in saying that, I figured it out. We are reading Gage, a hockey smut book.
Whoop, whoop.
There's a lot to be said about this.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Sawyer Bennett.
Sawyer Bennett. And
prolific, another prolific author.
Has a lot of books.
She has at least 3 series about 3 different hockey teams, and each of them have 10+ books in them. I mean, the one about Pittsburgh hockey, which is why we started reading these in the first place, has just came out with his 17th book this year.
Oh my God.
So Not
There's
this
only
year.
so many
She wrote
positions,
seven.
Sawyer.
It's not that she wrote 17 books this year, but the 17th came out this year.
It's coming.
And it is, and I'm just about to read the 17th in the series, so I've read all of them. You have, I don't think you've read any of them yet.
You are such a series whore. No, I read
yeah.
Gage like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago because it's set in Pittsburgh, which is where we're from. And so,
Whoop whoop.
I think, whoop whoop, go Steelers.
Yeah.
Bye, Tomlin. I miss you.
Sad day.
So, but with the hockey smut, it's very timely because Heated Rivalry is another hockey smut book that's having a huge moment. And so I've
HBO
had
Max.
several. Yeah. So it's made into a TV show, and I think it's the second book in a series, Heated Rivalry. I don't know what the first one is. And so we might try to squeeze that one in alongside Gage and see.
Bonus ep or same ep, we're
TBD.
Time will decide.
Hockey smut is like a genre unto itself, so I will be curious.
Yeah.
Gage we picked because it's Pittsburgh, and
there was one funny turn of phrase that made me giggle.
What was it?
I think
Do you
it was
remember?
something about filling buckets. She fills my bucket or something like that. I don't know. It was
and
very
these buckets full of semen is just
well.
too
Technically,
much.
she filled his
Get a
bucket, not the other way
bucket and a
around.
mop.
Wop wop
wop wop wop wop.
I was singing that at some point too, and I think Lucy heard me, and I was like, please don't start singing that. Wop,
No.
wop, wop, get
Wop,
a bucket
wop.
and a mop.
And a mop. That's not bad. Lucy can sing that. She doesn't know.
Yeah.
I did for Christmas. I got her the Melissa and Doug, like toy cleaning set that comes with like a mop and a
Bucket.
little sweeper. There's no bucket. I'll have to get her a wooden toy bucket, so that she can really do the wop music
it
video.
up.
She can wop it up.
Wop it up.
But she's ready. She's ready. Get a bucket and a mop.
Get a bucket and a mop.
Clean up your toys. Wop, 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 wop. All right. All
right. So next week's podcast, we got Gage by Sawyer Bennett. If you're liking our bullshit, generally laughing at our own jokes, please hit that like, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And thank you for listening. And please tune in next week, Smutters.
Stay smutty. Watch this.
Smutty. She's blowing up the
Are
candle
you
for all
afraid
you
of the dark?
listeners. Are you
Are you afraid of the dark? Come on, it's so good.
Oh, that was good.
Stay smutty.
Stay smutty. Bye.